Video recording. We got audio going. Here we go. Counting it down in 3, 2, 1.
Sally adds potato chips to the menu. They used to be exclusively picnic fare, but they've joined the host of useful accessory foods which make entertaining so much easier and more fun. What will be the beverage?
The short man eats chicken every day.
The morning stream. This car smells weird.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to TMS. It's the morning stream for June 9th, 2022. I'm Scott Johnson, joined today by guest host Bobby Frankenberger. Bobby, welcome to the show.
Hello. Not only does this seat smells weird that Brian left for me.
Well, it turns out it's flu. It's riddled with flu. This seat you're in.
Thanks for the heads up.
Yep, riddled with flu. Brian's still down, as that may have indicated. He's feeling a little better today, but his voice is shot, and he is. I forgot what his percentage was, but he said his voice.
He just said in the chat room his voice is 37%, but the rest of him is 68%.
That's good. So, that's momentum forward. That's good.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, he's in the chat hanging out with us today. So here in spirit and literally watching what we're doing from the other side of the glass for today. But anyway, continued well wishes his direction as he gets better. He went and got tested, did one of those drive-up deals, and the lady there, I assume it was a lady, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Is that sexist to assume it was a lady? What do you think, Bobby? Should I have said the person? That's what I should have said.
Yes, it is. The answer is yes. It is sexist.
It is sexist. So whoever gave him his drive-through nasal swabbing gave him the clear on the COVID. So still no COVID. Still dodging that bullet. I still say that circle's shrinking for me. Everybody close to me, it's getting closer to people closer to me catching it.
Yeah.
I think it's just inevitable, right? I'm gonna get it.
It's inevitable, probably. I mean, have you ever had the flu before?
Oh yeah, some real rough ones too. Back in 08, boy, let me tell you, 08 was a rough one. I couldn't. In fact, some of these symptoms people talk about, like smelling and taste and all that, weeks of like can't hardly move, fever that just about tears you a new one, all that stuff. That was 08 for me, real bad, bad.
Yeah. Well, the circle's closing for me too. The circle entered my home. My oldest daughter got COVID, and the rest of us didn't get it. But it was still terrible because, and she had symptoms for like a day, and they were super mild.
Sure.
That's why you get vaccinated, right?
Yeah.
Because even if you end up getting it, it'll be mild. But she had to stay quarantined out of school for a whole week, and so
that was fun for her. And you guys still didn't get it. Nice job. Congratulations.
Yeah.
We somehow mingled with my kid, or my oldest, who has a little boy of her own, and they all got it, including the little one, and we somehow dodged it. I don't know how much longer I've got, man. I'm telling you, it's coming. I can feel it.
Yeah. Well, you might have had it. We might have had it, and you just never.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Like you never had it.
If
like
I was,
you might have had SARS-CoV-2, but you never developed COVID. If that makes sense.
See, this is why we're having you on today, so we could have some scientific sense to all this, right? Because Bobby's a scientific podcaster.
Glad to continue to fool you into thinking that I know about science for just another day.
You do a pretty good job, I'll say that. A couple of things I want to get out of the way this morning. Had a pretty funny experience yesterday. So my wife has been really big this year on something she calls, she doesn't just call it this is what it's called, but citronella. It's like a thing you plant, and it keeps mosquitoes and gnats away. If you have some growing around your yard.
I didn't know that was a plant. That's interesting. I didn't know that's where it came from. I thought it was just a candle scent.
The candles do work also, but not as well as the actual plant, or at least that's been our experience.
I guess maybe the candles have the oil from the plant in it or something.
Yeah, there's something in it. Chat room says lemongrass will also work. Who is that? Diced tomato. We haven't tried that, but anyway, she's all big on this citronella business, and so this year kind of went nuts with it and put it everywhere. Backyard, front yard, back porch area, all this stuff. And this time of year, we get a ton of early little bitty bugs, mostly in the form of gnats, Don't really get mosquitoes this time of year. That's usually a fall thing, but we get swarmed pretty good. Now, I'm talking to a guy in the South. You're in South Carolina, and you know all about bugs that are the size of your fists, so, there's no telling you guys what to do down there. But for our mild bug infestations in the spring, this has worked pretty well so far. But we noticed something yesterday that was a little freaky. Now, I know this is a little bit of my science fiction mind kicking in. Okay, I know this isn't probably super... this is based on zero reality here. Or at least maybe it is. I don't know. But let me lay it out what happened. So we're out on the porch. It's like 7:45 at night. Long summer nights in the summer with the proper times thing. Whatever it is right now, I want it to stay. What's it called? What are we in? We're not in savings. We're in the other one. We're in daylight, not savings. We're just in daylight time. We're in daylight time. Yeah, there's daylight out. And I love it. And I don't want that one to go away. I don't know. I hope I live long enough to see the day when this happens, but at least where I live. But anyway, sun's out, still shining, getting ready to set, but still nice. And, it's beautiful outside. So Kim and I are out on the back porch, chilling, enjoying some sort of beverage, relaxing, chillaxing, as the kids say, As you might say. As you might say. And I notice that there's a swarm of these little bitty gnat bug things just above the yard, and it's a big one, like a cloud of them, and I mean like thick enough that it actually dimmed the light a little bit in the backyard, and they're all just there going in this hover ball. I know these clouds of gnats because as a runner, when you see one like right in front of you, it's kind of terrifying. You're about to inhale some insects. Yeah, it's protein time. It's time to get your protein on. Yeah, right. I just run through and open my mouth. I carry those jelly beans while I'm running long distances. As a long distance runner, I don't need to. I can skip one when I come into a cloud because I just open my mouth. Like, is that a thing? Hold on, these jelly beans. Tell me more. Is this what runners do? They get a pocket of jelly beans, and different runners prefer different things. But yeah, when you're doing like marathon running or long distance running, usually you're going to be running for like 4 or 5 hours at least, and so you need something to eat. You need to replenish carbohydrates, and electrolytes. So you can have gels or jelly beans is what I prefer because the gels are kind of like warm snot while you're running. Geez. Yeah, they're not. If it was cold, that'd be different. But if they're outside temperature, yeah. All right. Well, that's interesting. Didn't know that. Okay, so this cloud hovering over ominously in the sky would occasionally go and kind of lower down, and then go and go back up. Now, I think what was happening. I'm thinking of like a Looney Tunes cartoon. Were they making shapes in the sky, like cursing you with spelling words? Yeah, and throwing me the bird and all that. Yeah. No, it seemed like there was a buffer there, like some kind of secret invisible wall that was keeping them out, and they would try to penetrate it. And I noticed in the yard next to me, they're all down in it. They're in their yard, all over everything, all up in the trees, all up near the door. Like there's no problem next door. But at our house, they get down there and they hang there for a minute, go back up a little bit, come down, like they just touch it and go, ugh, and then they go back up. And I kept getting this feeling of like the minute the citronella goes away or dies or fades or whatever, they're coming for us. Like we are screwed. What they're doing, they're testing the shield, right? Like they're trying to find a weak point. That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like. I should have filmed this. I don't know what I was doing. I was so amazed by it. I should have freaking put it on camera, but they were staying out. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm coming to the show today with two things that I now understand and know for a fact. The citronella business works. I don't know if it works in every case. It works on these bugs. I know that. Dragonflies don't seem to care. They're all over the place. They don't care. Dragons, what are you going to do? But gnats and stuff, man, they're not coming in unless we get rid of that stuff. So my recommendation is, get that stuff if you can. If you can't, or let me put it this way now I feel like if I don't, there'll be revenge. So now I have to
gosh,
do it.
yeah.
Now we have to. And then hearing about lemongrass, maybe we'll get a little lemongrass going on. I hear mint is good, so you get some mint plants.
You're gonna have to do something, otherwise they're gonna form into the shape of like a dagger and try to stab you in the butt while you run away.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. No. Look, I learned a lot from cartoons, and that stuff stuck with me. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna turn my back on that important education I received as a child.
Important lessons learned. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the world of science, what you've done, we call that an anecdotal evidence, right?
Oh.
Because
Is it?
Because it's just one time that it happened.
Yeah, I didn't give. That's a good point. I don't have a control. I don't have
Yeah.
any of the stuff I would need for a proper study here. So this is this is all not antithetical. This is all what's the word I'm looking for? This is all. There's a word like antithetical. That's not the word. This is all empirical evidence.
Empirical
Yeah,
does not mean anything like antithetical.
nothing
but,
like antithetical. And that's all the evidence I have. So until we do a proper study, until I get my MIT guys out there looking at stuff, then I guess it's just this is the world we've been dealt.
Do
So
you
it's
like
fine.
the smell of the citronella plants?
I don't smell it. Kim says she can smell it. I don't smell anything. I smell nothing. So
Well, if it's not hurting anybody, do they look nice?
they look nice. Yeah.
Okay, well then there you go.
Then it's fine, right? They're not overgrowing anything. Nobody's walking away with citronella-itis, whatever the hell that would even be.
Dogs aren't eating them and pooping all over the place or anything?
No, none of that. We're safe, right? We're safe.
Yeah.
Talk myself into this. All right. It's time for Amy to join us. Yeah, that's right,
Amy.
everybody. Oh, yeah. What are you going to say? Oh, do you say Amy? Is that what you said?
I'm just excited.
Oh, that's great. Look at you getting all excited. I like this. This is what a co-host should do, is get excited about things. Amy is joining the show shortly here, and we're going to play this when she arrives. Here we go, right here. That music means one thing. It's time to read. At the feet of Amy Robinson, a.k.a. Red Fraggle, joins us on Thursdays and does Read This with Amy. Hey, Amy, what's going on?
Hey.
Hello.
How's everybody doing this morning, aside from Brian, who apparently is doing really crappy?
Yeah, he's Brian. I mean, he's sick.
Poor guy.
But he's in the chat and chilling.
Yeah.
You know, having a
Yeah,
good time.
he told me he was going to be listening this morning. So hello.
Yeah.
And hello, Bobby.
Hello, it's all part of our Southern takeover.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's all a big plan.
I didn't realize how many.
Brian the flu
It
so we
suddenly
could take
hit
over
me
the show.
how many people I work with on and off here and there that are all from the South. What is that about? I don't have a lot of Yankee. I mean, Brian and I both Yanks, right? But you guys in the South, Brian Dunaway in the South, Justin Robert
Not
Young in the
just
South.
for grits anymore.
No.
South.
Oh, I had the best grits
Yeah,
the
do
other
you
day.
count as a Yankee? I mean, like being from the West, is that?
I don't know.
I think of Yankees as people like from the Northeast.
Like New York and stuff. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what they count us as, honestly. That's a really good question, because back when they would have
They.
called us a Yankee.
You're talking to the they right now.
Yeah,
right,
the they.
Yeah, exactly. we are the they.
We're right here, Scott.
Yeah, I can see you can see me. But when I would say, okay, so in the Old West, let's say the 1800s, when we had the Civil War and the division between our countries or between our states and everybody going, we're going to secede from the nation and all that. What was the West then? Were we undiscovered? We were barely getting discovered? Yeah, we didn't count. You know what? You're right. We didn't count yet.
Yeah.
We're not Yankees.
When I think of the word Yankee, I think of like hoity-toity carpetbaggers, like
Yeah. All
Oh, that's
dandies.
funny because I think of like like New York cab drivers and stuff.
oh yeah.
I think of a
I
think of a
Yankees.
dandy for some reason. A guy in a nice top hat kind of business, tight little suit with a stupid cane that he doesn't need, that sort of thing.
I think we have something in common with the frontier people. Right?
Yeah.
There's like a salt of the earth kind of feeling that we share, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
the way the folks that moved west, we were busy pushing native people out of their land and growing corn and stuff, I guess. I don't know what we did. Killing a lot of buffalo for no reason, that sort of stuff, selling their
Yeah.
things. So that's what
Meanwhile,
did.
we were busy like claiming that we were farmers and we had slaves doing the farming. So
Pretending
right.
we were farming while we drank our gin and tonics and
Yeah, proxy.
Yeah,
You guys
right.
were proxy
Mint
farmers.
juleps.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, well done. We've come a long way. Let's get to this segment here today. We got a couple of books, actually, which we're going to talk about. Let's start with your first one. I don't know if you knew this. I like Dean Koontz a lot. And so the fact that you're bringing a Dean Koontz book to the table is exciting for me because this is one I haven't read. So tell me about it. Or do you want to hear the clip first? How do you want to do this? It's up to you.
Let's do. So I think the first clip I sent you was actually the other one. So if you want to do the Dean Koontz one, do the second clip.
It's the one with the number 2 on it, I believe.
Yes.
All right, here we
indeed.
go.
So
Let's
play
give it a
that
shot.
one
Here
first.
we go.
As she began the second verse, a sudden chill climbed the ladder of her spine, causing her to fall silent. She was not a woman given to premonitions, but as the icy quiver ascended to the back of her neck, she was overcome by a sense of impending danger. Turning, she half expected to see an approaching assailant or a hurtling car. Instead, she was alone on this quiet residential street. Nothing rushed toward her with lethal purpose. The only moving things were those harried by the wind. Trees and shrubs shivered. A few crisp brown leaves skittered along the pavement. Garlands of tinsel and Christmas lights from the recent holiday rustled and rattled under the eaves of a nearby house. Still uneasy, but feeling foolish, Marty let out the breath that she'd been holding. When the exhalation whistled between her teeth, she realized that her jaws were clenched. She was probably still spooked from the dream that awakened her after midnight, the same one she'd had on a few other recent nights. The man made of dead, rotting leaves, a nightmare figure, whirling, raging. Then her gaze dropped to her elongated shadow, which stretched across the close-cropped grass, draped the curb, and folded onto the cracked concrete pavement. Inexplicably, her uneasiness swelled into alarm. She took one step backward, then a second, and of course her shadow moved with her. Only as she retreated a third step did she realize that this very silhouette was what frightened her.
Ooh, creepy. He had me at icy quiver. For some reason, I like that term. I had an icy quiver in the back of my neck. Ooh. Anyway, so what is this book? What do we got going here?
Yes. Okay, so this book, I should actually give a little bit of an introduction to this. I have not read either of this week's books, and that is because we had a request, or I had a request from our good friend Tanner Goodman for some recommendations for horror or, a good scare. And I don't read that stuff because I find that when you have real horror in your past, reading and consuming scary stuff, it goes one of two ways, right? Either it doesn't bother you at all because you're like, I've done this in real life, or it dredges all that up and you don't sleep for a week. I am the latter flavor. So I don't read scary stuff and watch scary movies. For some reason, Stranger Things doesn't bother me. I can watch that, but yeah, what do you do? Anyway,
sure.
So I asked Brian if he had some recommendations because I wanna be able to give our good friend Tanner some books to read. So this was one that Brian suggested. It's called False Memory by Dean Koontz, and it's about a psychiatrist that is secretly drugging his patients and making them do horrible things without their knowledge.
Oh my Lord. That's a gnarly piece of business right there.
Right? Yeah. And when I went looking for these clips and I found this one, I was like, man, they got a great narrator because even this guy's voice is giving me the creeps.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah, it sounds really fascinating, honestly. If you're the kind of person that enjoys a good creepy, scary novel, this might be for you.
Feels like movie material. We're just reading some of the synopsis here. I don't know why this hasn't been converted. See, I would actually really enjoy a book like this. For some reason, scary books, scary movies, all that stuff, I sleep better after I watch them. With two exceptions. Hereditary and freaking Midsummer. F that guy and the movie he makes. My gosh, what the frick? I don't even know if I can handle whatever he does next. But for the most part, like a book like this wouldn't bother me. I can read Stephen King at night. I can read this stuff at night. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me. It makes me weird, I guess. I don't know.
I've never read Dean Koontz. Is that typical of Dean Koontz? Do either of you know I loved the imagery in that little clip that you played.
Oh, it's very typical of him. I would say he's I mean, he and Stephen King are definitely contemporaries of each other, and they share a lot of. I think they share a lot of audience. Like a lot of people jive on both vibes, and there's a lot of similarities. I think Dean Koontz spends a little bit more time with grounded stories, stuff with a little bit less out there kind of themes. Whereas Stephen King's got clowns in a gutter and sometimes is grounded, but that I think is maybe the thing that differentiates them. But he's also really verbose in my experience. Dean Koontz is, and I like that a lot. I think that's what you're kind of describing here. He's very good at sort of painting a picture in very short sentences, and that's actually kind of my favorite.
Painting a picture with the words, but also choosing the way to describe it to make you feel a certain way.
Sure. Sure.
So.
And a lot of people.
I had trouble finding like a short clip. I had to because he is so descriptive and it all sort of paints that picture. I was like, okay, I want to really give the feel of this thing.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of go for a longer clip there because the descriptions were so rich.
And this is how you know that guy is successful. Any author, I've noticed this. This is a dumb visual thing, but you walk into a bookstore. Any books where the guy's name is bigger than the title of the book it's on, that's how you know they've made it. So when Stephen King is like 72 points of type, and then down here tiny little Christine or whatever, that's how you know. That's how you know. That's how you know they've made it. Yeah. So I always think like if you're trying to make it as an author, the goal is get a big ass version of your name on a book and then a tiny version of the title, and you're done. You're good. Yeah, all the Grisham books. Oh my gosh, the Grisham books are the worst offenders at this. John Grisham, the client, way down at the bottom.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there reading it, and you're like, "Oh, what book are you reading?" I don't know. It's written by John Grisham, though.
That's all I know. I come for the
all I
Grisham.
John Grisham thing.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so there's your number one pick. Here's the other one. Now this doesn't surprise me because Brian always talking about Chuck Palahniuk being his favorite author. So you brought a Palahniuk book. Tell us about it. What is this?
Yes. So this is a clip from Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk, which is a novel, but it's made up of 23 separate stories. And the overarching story is these folks are at a writer's retreat. And gradually their circumstances start getting worse and worse. And the worse they get, the more horrifying the stories they write become.
Nice.
So that's my understanding of it anyway. Once again, this is a recommendation from Brian.
It sounds, you sound like you know the summary pretty well. So you're all good. You had me fooled.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's play this clip.
We called each other the Earl of Slander or Sister Vigilante. The names we earned based on our stories. The names we gave each other based on our life instead of our family. Lady Bag Lady, Agent Tattletale. Names based on our sins instead of our jobs. Saint Gutfrey and the Duke of Vandals. Based on our faults and crimes. The opposite of superhero names. Silly names for real people. As if you cut open a rag doll and found inside real intestines, real lungs, a beating heart, blood. A lot of hot, sticky blood. And we were supposed to write short stories, funny short stories. Too many of us, locked away from the world for one whole spring, summer, winter, autumn, one whole season of that year. It doesn't matter who we were as people. Not to old Mr. Whittier. But he didn't say this at first. To Mr. Whittier, we were lab animals, an experiment. But we didn't know. No, this was only a writer's retreat until it was too late for us to be anything except his victims.
Ooh, dark and scary. I also like the way he writes. Famous for those who are like, who's Chuck Palahniuk? Never heard of that guy. He wrote your Fight Club. There, that's your big monster hit for Chuck Palahniuk, his Fight Club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I have to admit. So Brian's always talking about he's his favorite author, and every time he says it, I'm like, I should really read more of his books. The only one I have read is Fight Club, and I hear such good things about all these other books. I've never done it. So maybe today.
This one sounds like a good one to pick up if, like you say, you're not bothered by scary stuff and you enjoy scary stuff. And this is broken down into 23 short stories. So this might be a good one for you to pick up if you, just like, oh, here, I'll read something to scare the shit out of me on the toilet,
Sure.
That might be a
make
good
sure you're
choice.
on the toilet.
Yeah, be on the toilet. This is funny. I'm looking at his Wikipedia page, and it talks about Guts and Haunted, which are, I guess this is 2003, 05, somewhere in that range. Is when he wrote these books. It says Polonic read to his audience as a short story called Guts. How he describes this as a sensational tale of accidents involving masturbation. No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I'm not reading Guts. Brian, have you read Guts? I'm not reading Guts. Forget it. I'm not reading Guts.
I don't need that in my head.
No. Anyway, available on Audible and wherever you get these things. The cover of this book is weird. I don't know if you guys have seen this thing. Here, Chad, look at this face.
So was the narrator.
Yeah.
Did you get the feeling that it was read by one of the Siri voices?
Well, yeah. So I saw somebody in the chat was talking about the narrator. Actually, interestingly, there are four different narrators for this book if you get it on audiobook. So you're not stuck with this guy for the entire 23 stories. So, yeah, in fact, one of them is a woman named Kimberly Farr. So presumably one of the characters in the book is a woman author, and so she gets to read her stories, I guess. So yeah, so there are different narrators in that audiobook. I like it when they do that, mix it up a little bit. It's kind of cool.
I also really like his one word titles of novels. I wish there was more of that. He's got books like Choke, Survivor, Damned, Rant, Haunted, like this one. I love that. More of that, please. I don't need a bunch of words. You got to make room for your giant author name anyway. So just make it short. Was that a dog? I heard?
Sorry, yes, it's my dog.
That was a weird sound right then.
Can you come and get the dog?
But what's the dog's name? I forgot.
That was Violet, and then Beauregard is
Beauregard and Violet. That's
Violet Beauregard.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you for getting it, Bobby. I love that. It makes me so happy when people get the reference.
That's awesome. Anyway, well, this sounds interesting. I'll have to check it out. They all die in the end. No, I don't know. I'm not spoiling anything. I really don't know.
Spoiler.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't either. I couldn't say, but yeah, these were the recommendations I got from Brian, and shout out to Tanner. I wanted to, honor his request, especially since his anniversary was yesterday. So
yeah, congratulations, Tanner. Yeah, and I think Alex had a birthday too. Well, anyway, yeah, congrats to Tanner and Alex. That's awesome. You guys are great. We love them. Great as always, Amy, and always nice to hear from you. Do you got anything else going on you want to promote or push or tell anyone about or anything you got going?
Yeah, so we're still doing signups for the Southeast meetup on September 10th. We have booked this thing, so we're getting this big old house, and so come on, it'll be fun.
Have you checked for hauntings or any of that? There's no hauntings or.
Well, I mean, they have haunted tours around Asheville, but I do not know of any hauntings in this particular mansion. No.
That's how they get you. All right.
Right.
I can't wait to hear the stories of weird things in the night from this event. Actually, so wait, remind people the dates. When is this?
It is September 9th through 11th. And it's in Asheville, North Carolina. And you can find the signups and all that in the Frog Pants Discord under other meetups.
Bobby, do you dare set foot in the other Carolina to enjoy this meetup? Are you going to do that?
I would love to. I actually don't think I'm going to be able to make it, but if I was able to make it, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. If I was able to make it, I would tolerate the other Carolina just for this.
Okay. Yeah, no, and I know that's hard for you guys. You have to share the Panthers. That's one thing. That's a lot to ask already. But then, I know how it is. It's like putting silver in your pocket when you're a vampire. It doesn't feel right. It's like kind of burns a little.
You mean a werewolf, right?
No,
do vampires hate silver?
Vampires?
Too?
I thought vampires hated silver. No,
I thought it was just garlic.
I mean, it depends. If you're in the Blade universe, they do. They don't like
that's
silver.
true. They had silver bullets. Well, okay, so I'm playing this game V Rising, and it's super addicting, and I love it. And one of the things you can find in the game are silver coins, but you have to hurry and get those back because they burn the whole time you're trying to haul them back to your castle. And if you don't get rid of them, your life will slowly.
You're basically a vampire expert now, so I get that. Okay.
You're right. V Rising has made me a vampire expert, no question about it. Amy, well, I hope this all sounds awesome. I wish I wasn't. I mean, I'm excited to be on my trip for my anniversary that week, but I kind of wish we were going there, to be honest. That would be really fun.
Well, if it goes well, we'll do it again, and then you can come next year.
Damn straight. It's Amy Robinson, Red Fraggle 3, wherever you go, okay? All the places, that's where you'll find her. Amy, have a great day. We'll see you next time.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye, Amy.
Bye now. All right. Well, that was fun. I enjoyed that a lot. Hey, look at this.
Me too.
It's time for the news. Here we go. Today's news is brought to you by All Around Science. Hey, Bobby, tell me more about the show All Around Science, if you would.
So we do, I've got this podcast called All Around Science. You may have heard of it, and we talk about science stuff. You know, it's good that I was able to come on today because I wasn't able to be on Tuesday because I get to tell you guys about the cool interview we did that just came out this past Monday. Everybody's talking about all the science, talking about how there's science and evidence for gun control policy that is effective, right? That's what people are talking about now. All the libs are talking about how it's really good to have science behind all that. Well, we talked about that on an episode. We went over the science. We actually talked to a Stanford economist and law professor who specializes in collecting empirical evidence with this kind of stuff, wrote a paper on it and everything with a co-author and laid out what the evidence is for science-based policy in regards to effective gun policies.
Yeah, that's interesting. Perfectly timed as well. So check it out, All Around Science, wherever you get your podcasts. That sounds super interesting. I'm going to check that one out. I like experts. Experts are good,
Experts know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I feel like they're experts.
Yeah, they're pretty expert at it.
Well, let's start today's news off with a science story of its own, or in its own right. Millions of tons of strange new chemicals were discovered in Earth's atmosphere recently. Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Have you heard of this yet? Is this a new thing for you?
Strange new chemicals. Tell me more.
All right, here's more. Scientists have discovered that an ultra-reactive chemical in Earth's atmosphere lasts much longer than we previously believed. In fact, they believe that millions of tons of the chemical could linger in the atmosphere for several hours. The chemicals in question are hydrotrioxides.
You nailed it. That's good.
Yeah, look at me. The chemical is made up of hydrogen atom, and 3 oxygen atoms. Perhaps the most concerning thing about how long these ultra-reactive chemicals last in the Earth's atmosphere, though, is the implications that they have for human health and the Earth's climate. Hydrotrioxides were previously believed to only linger for a very short time. Now, through this study, they show that they could be there for at least 20 minutes on average, maybe longer. And that's because it is a product of common chemical reactions. New amounts of the chemical are being generated almost constantly. So it's just kind of regenerating itself up there. Further, this ultra-reactive chemical in the Earth's atmosphere can interact with other compounds extremely quickly. And because hydrotrioxides contain extra oxygen atoms, they could be very flammable. In fact, other peroxides have been used in rocket fuel thanks to their flammability. So they don't know why it's up there and staying so long. And I guess they're worried it could catch on fire. At least that is what it sounds like. This
article is about as sensational as they come in the world of science. All right. So this is nobody worry. You don't need to worry about spontaneously catching on fire because of some new chemical that was found. First of all, it's
the
not
skies
really
aren't going to be
new.
on fire. There's no fire in the sky from this.
Yeah. So what the real thing is, the 3 oxygens on it is so. If you've heard of peroxides,
I have. How about hydrogen peroxide? That's something I pour on things.
That's 2 oxygens attached with some hydrogen, and the reason hydrogen peroxide is used as a cleaner so much and can also like turn your hair color, like white, bleach your hair a little bit and everything,
Yeah.
is because of those oxygens. It's very reactive. So cramming a third oxygen onto something like that can be make it even more reactive.
What if you put a fourth on there? Then would the sky be on fire? How about a fifth?
Well, then you access the multiverse.
Oh shit. Okay, well.
Yeah. So scientists are working on that.
Yeah, they're working on accessing the multiverse. You heard it here first.
But no, it's so the real news here is just this article really is just a oh cool or that's interesting kind of article. It's always they've known that it's possible for those to exist, but the change here is that it lasts longer in the atmosphere than we thought, and so now they need to incorporate that into models for like climate models and atmospheric models to figure out how does that factor into reactivity with other chemicals. Does it change the way we think about the ozone? Does it is it bad for plants and people and in the environment in some way? They just have to factor it in now because it's a highly reactive chemical that's hanging out longer, but it's not like so reactive that if you're going to be, it's not like your airplanes are flying through acid and going to fall out of the sky or something, like
that's comforting. I like that. I don't want to fly through acid. Yeah, that's what. Well, I mean, look, TMS known for its really hard-hitting news and journalistic standards. So we're gonna continue that trend.
Speaking of journalistic standards, I should say that I am not a chemist, so I could have this wrong. If you are a chemist listening, please let me know if it really is going to make planes start falling out of the sky. My sense is that it's been there for a while and we're just now realizing it. And so we just need to figure out what it's been doing already that we didn't know.
Yeah, because this stuff doesn't just like poof, suddenly it's here and it was never here before, sort of. That's rare, right? You're not going to see that happen very often.
Right.
Well, moving on then, let's talk about this story about a lobster diver who got swallowed by a humpback whale. I was completely inside, Jonah? He said. He says I was totally inside of it. Oh, man.
Did he call from inside the...
the call was coming from inside the whale, yeah. Yeah, I think that's where you're headed with that one. Here's the deal. A little before 8 a.m. Friday, lobster veteran diver Michael Packard entered the water for his second dive of the day. The vessel that he took in there called the JNL or JNL. I don't know how
Lobster
you say that.
Diver. Hold on, I'm still stuck on that.
Yeah, why do you dive for lobster? Don't you just catch them with cages and stuff?
Yeah. Also, I'm assuming he's not a lobster diver.
No. He's not a diver. He's not a lobster who also dives. He dives for lobsters, is my thinking.
And how veteran could he be if he's accidentally swallowed by a whale?
That's what I'm saying, right? Also, that's weird. Anyway, was off Herring Cove Beach and surrounded by a fleet of boats catching striped bass. They weren't stripped. They were striped. The water temperature was a balmy 60 degrees and visibility about 20 feet. These guys literally pick lobsters off the sandy bottom of the thing. That's what you do. So that's the diving. You go down, you pick them up, you bring them up. Packard is age 56. I don't know why that matters. Dove down Friday morning. Saw schools of sand lances and stripers swimming by. There were no strippers swimming by. It was stripers.
Club later.
Yeah, we're going to the stripe club. Where you put a seashell in the old G-string there. That's what you do. Let's see. The ocean food chain was in full evidence, but about 10 feet from the bottom, Packard suddenly knew that it was what it truly felt like to be in that food chain. In something truly biblical, Packard was swallowed whole by a humpback whale. Here's his quote. All of a sudden, I felt this huge shove, and the next thing I knew, I was everything was completely black. Packard recalled Friday afternoon following his release from Cape Cod Hospital. I could sense I was moving. I could feel the whale squeezing with muscles in his mouth.
So...
Yeah! Chat's saying this happened in 2011. What are they talking about?
Did they just find this guy and trust his story? Like, was he... Did they check his blood alcohol level before? Like, I don't feel like... Like, how does this happen?
Yeah, it seems a little surprising that the whale. Well, I don't know. You're down there fiddling around in an ecosystem that humans aren't in. You don't know what's about to happen. This could have been an octopus deciding it was time to ink you right in the face or something. I don't know. This is what happens when we go and we fiddle with nature. You know, we get pulled into whales' mouths and stuff.
that is what happens. You're right.
That's been my experience. Look, I'm trying to think of something scarier in a water setting than being swallowed, or at least initially taken into the mouth of a large humpback whale. Like, what's worse than that?
And how did he get out? Did he like punch the uvula like a punching bag?
He doesn't get into that, but what it sounds like is the whale, the creature finally just went, oh, this isn't right, and spit it out. It's like, this isn't what I want to eat. Kind of like a dog who thought he wanted, you know,
kind of like turned it over in his mouth a little bit, like, what was that?
Yeah. The chat's making some good points. Piranhas and shark attacks, I guess those are worse because you can get all torn up. But I just think from my claustrophobic mind, I would not want to be in the mouth of a whale for very long.
Do humpback whales, are they the toothed ones? Do they have...
Oh, I don't know. They're known for that hump, but do we know about their teeth? They don't call them teeth mouth whales for a reason. They call them hump. I don't know. I have no idea. I assume they have some kind of... Because they usually, it's krill, right? You're just pulling in the krill and eating the krill and the small fish, and then you don't need teeth for that. You're just sucking those in and just eating them raw. If I learned anything from 2003 Pixar hit Finding Nemo, it was that they just eat krill. But maybe I don't.
And that when you're inside the mouth of a whale, it's kind of just like a cave.
Yeah.
With like it's like you could sit there and breathe, and then you have like a couple of waves, kind of like sitting at the beach. You have waves of water come in and out. And
why is that ringing a weird memory for me? Have I seen something?
Because that's how being inside a whale's mouth is depicted on
But where was it
time.
depicted? Where have I seen that exact scene? Because it's in my head right now after you described it, and I have seen this exact scene. Little waves coming in and out. Guys sitting there kind of camped out. Other bones laying around.
In the chat, everybody's saying Pinocchio. Maybe that's where I'm getting it from.
Was there a fire in there? Like a little campfire? Was that Pinocchio? And then they burned it, and that's how you got out? That might have been it. Maybe. I haven't seen Pinocchio in about 1,002 years. It's been that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, whatever. Oh my gosh! Speaking of that, so I always think like, what would a live action Pinocchio movie look like in 2022? Or
we are gonna find out.
Well, we are gonna find out. But what I really want to know is how this Rob Zombie Munsters deal is gonna go. So there's a trailer out now for the Munsters, Rob Zombie Munsters movie. Part of me thinks and kind of knows in his heart that Rob Zombie's actually a terrible director. Okay. He's not very good. He makes horror movies, and some of them have some interesting ideas, but they're not well acted, and they're kind of poopy. He's not a very good actor or a very good director, yet he keeps getting these deals. And right now he's about to release this Munsters movie, and I saw the first trailer, and I don't know how to feel about it. It's going to be PG, says the chat. Is that true? Rob Zombie making a PG film? I mean, I don't even know what to say about that.
I know. I feel like those ideas are at odds. Like if Rob Zombie is going to direct a movie, it's got to be some kind of like intense, crazy take on it, right?
Right. And by the way,
you can't do what you're expecting to get from Rob Zombie if it's PG, right?
That's true. That's a really good point. Now I'm going to make a recommendation for the best thing Rob Zombie ever directed, and you may not remember that he did this, but in light of the fact...
He burned through the ditches and...
And his Dragula? Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
I love that album. I was so into that. I like Rob Zombie music. I should state that for the record. Not all of it, but some of it. But the best thing he ever directed was the interstitial animated sequence that was part of the Beavis and Butthead movie, Beavis and Butthead Do America, where they were on drugs or something, and it got real weird, and their faces got all funky, and I think it even had Rob Zombie music in the background. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I can't give details here, but I remember that visually being very arresting, very interesting. Because the guy's a cartoonist artist guy. That's where he started. Like that's what he used to doodle on everything. Have a million sketchbooks, and his art is really wacko. And now they got a new Beavis and Butthead movie coming called Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. I watched the trailer. It looks stupid great. I can't freaking wait.
That's what I was going to ask is how are we feeling about Beavis and Butthead coming back?
100% in. Like, I need it more than ever. I need dumb, stupid, mindless, stupid right now. That's what I need. I need
Beavis and Butthead was on. Was that during some formative time for you?
So we're talking late 80s, early 90s, right? Late 80s is when, can't think of his name, creator of Beavis and Butthead and Family Guy, King of the Hill. Not Family Guy. Can't think of his name. Anyway, made Idiocracy, made Office Space. Why can't
Mike Judge.
Mike Judge, geez Louises. Mike Judge was originally just a crappy cartoonist with some ideas that submitted his work to like animation festivals and stuff. And that's where Beavis and Butthead got its start. And where it really took off was as a short. It was a tiny little short, or a couple of shorts, that they aired on MTV's Liquid Television back in the day. And Liquid Television was like, you know, this really avant-garde animation stuff that was, I loved that show. I just absolutely devoured it every time it was on. Yeah. So formative in the sense that I had just entered my 20s, I guess, probably, well, let's see, 90, 91, that era, I would have been 20, 21. And that would have been creative time ahoy for me, like starting to just feel my oats when it came to like art and animation and just weird stuff. I just loved it. I just ate it all up, went to all the festivals when they come to town, that sort of stuff. And I remember seeing that one and thinking, he somehow transcended this really crappy junior high detention art, which is really what Beavis and Butthead is visually. It's just bad. Yeah. Right. On purpose. But bad, and it matches perfectly the written content that goes with it. And it's so dumb and so juvenile that it was somehow great. Like, obviously, it was a huge hit and it did really well and was controversial. That's how you know something's big, is if it's controversial with the parents and the old people at the time, and it definitely was.
Yeah, because that's how I remember it. I had to sneak around to watch it.
Oh, yeah. Most parents were like, you're not watching Beavis and Butthead, and I kind of understand why, but... And then as the show progressed, I loved it the whole time. And then that movie was really actually like legit great. And then nothing, right? Kind of off because Judge was off to do Family Guy, or I keep saying Family Guy, King of the Hill, which is amazing in its own way. And then movies and all of that. And then TV, like he did Silicon Valley and all that. So I kind of thought we'd never, ever get back to it. Nope, we're getting a brand new
But here we are, yeah. Yeah, I've never heard anyone wax poetic about Beavis and Butthead until this moment, and
and I'll also say, chat mentions Daria and liking it better. Daria was a spinoff of Beavis and Butthead, and Daria
liked Daria.
Daria was awesome. Nothing wrong with Daria. Like, there's an era there of, everyone talks about The Simpsons did change everything. Boy, I could do a whole show about this. I love that the arc of like animation and the tilt it made in the late 80s. And it was
it went hand in hand with what a lot of culture was doing at the time, counterculture stuff. I mean, like the story of it mirrors a lot of the story of like Nirvana and alternative music, and people of a certain age at the time were they wanted something that spoke to who they were and what they were going through, and the existential crisis of youth, and that's what was happening. Is they were saying, all of this media was saying, we get you,
Yeah, it's absolutely true. Here. And also, you're talking about a generation, like, it was aimed at us as young 20-somethings because we'd grown up with He-Man and freaking the Super Friends and G.I. Joe and all this garbage in the 80s that was pandered to us so hard. It pandered to kids in a way that's, I love that stuff now because it's kitschy and whatever. But at the time, they were just trying to sell us cereal, and, it was old people deciding what kids wanted or whatever. This stuff comes along, this whole wave from Simpsons all the way through everything that came out of Liquid Television and beyond, and everything we have today, just the state of animation today, I think was like a gift to those of us who grew up with the sanitized cartoons. And then this was like, hey, you're adults now, let's go. Like, I don't know. I always felt like that was a gift to our generation, and I freaking loved it. So, yeah, I'm in. Bring me some more. And right now, with the world as stupid as it is, bring me something so mindless and dumb I can just escape into it and let Beavis and Butthead do their thing and be stupid. I'm ready. I need teepee through my bunghole. That's what I'm saying. All right?
Me too.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, my sister Wendi will be here. We got a topic today that I think will be good for everybody, so it'll be good to have her back. We didn't get to have her last week, so Wendi is on her way back. We're going to play a song, though, to take a quick break. Between now and then, I decided to go back again to another song that Brian introduced on the show that I really love and stuck with me hardcore. It is Straight to Hell by Lily Allen featuring Mick Jones, and it is from the War Child Presents Heroes album. Pretty sure this is a cover of, let me make sure I get this right, of The Clash, if I'm not in, let me make sure because Brian reminded me. Oh, yeah, it is The Clash, right? The Clash song. Anyway, so I'm going to play that right now when we come back, Wendi. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Starshine. The Earth says hello.
Why don't you beat it while you still have a beat to beat?
Ladies, we heard you. This is the morning stream.
All right, we're back, everybody. Once again, that was Lily Allen featuring Mick Jones and the song Straight to Hell from the War Child Presents Heroes album. Check it out. I listen to that song a few times a week at least. I love it so much. It's an amazing version. All right, let's get my sister involved in what we're doing here. Whoops, here we go. She's online, I believe. Yep, we're good. All right, let's pull her in. Let's get this happening. Let's make a change in the world. Let's be the change we want to see. That's how I look at things. Here's her intro.
Everyone knows it's Wendi.
Hey, look who it is. It's Wendi Dunford, my sister, who's in Minneapolis or St. Paul or somewhere around there. I should know this already. Hey,
You'll
Wendi.
never know.
I'll never know.
Never know.
I want to come out and see, though. We should come out and see. When can I come see?
You should. You should.
Anytime?
I highly recommend February.
February's the why is that month a good month?
It's so cold you'll die.
Oh, well, that's...
I just heard about... Hi, my name's Bobby, by the way.
Oh, Bobby's here, by the way.
Bobby.
Yeah, Brian's sick, so he's out today. So Bobby's sitting in. Sorry, Bobby, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, that's okay. I was just had to introduce... Because I was jumping in out of turn. I just heard a 99% Invisible episode about Minneapolis and St. Paul, all about the Skyways.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool. When do you listen to that show? I think, don't you?
I do. I've liked it. I haven't heard it in a while, so I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
The Skyways are impressive. You can basically do a whole day without going outside.
That is cool. Well, then, all right.
Yeah.
Well, what I heard then was that Wendi wants me to come in the month where I'll die. So that sounds great.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
no,
we'll look
come
forward to that.
anytime. They do some pretty cool things in February though, because you gotta celebrate. So they have they fly a kite on this big frozen huge lake, thousands of people. That's pretty fun.
That is cool.
And there's art shanties. They build in like a village of art installations on another one of the lakes.
That's cool.
Anyway, lots of fun things.
That sounds
You
like
should
amazing
try.
stuff. Yeah, I love
Come
that.
now when it's just absolutely gorgeous and you realize, oh, this is why you live here is because of this month.
Yeah, the
Beautiful.
1 month of the year where everything's beautiful. Is it not? June is nice. When does it? And then July's okay, right? You got a nice July.
Oh yeah, it's nice from May till October.
Yeah,
Maybe
then,
April. Not this April. This April was rough, but usually it is.
And then it's snow
Speaking
caves.
of bugs, you get some... I lived in northern Minnesota for a year.
Oh, there's some bugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was, and I lived on a farm, and I would rake the grass after we mowed the lawn, and if it was a storm was about to come, there was like I'd be raking, and the entire rake would be covered in these giant flies. I'm not even kidding. Like the whole thing would be covered. You'd smack it on the ground, and a swarm would fly away, and then just a few minutes later, it'd be covered again. This is a crazy
Citronella.
crazy
That's your
land.
answer. Yeah. Get that citronella out there. That's what Kim did.
Yeah, no, we definitely do have bugs. You shouldn't ask me about that because bugs don't, like mosquitoes don't like me. They like my family, but they don't like me. So I get maybe one bite a year, and everyone else gets 20 in one evening.
What's your deal? What's your toxic blood skin thing?
Yeah, it's my toxic trait that I really appreciate.
Yeah, that's weird. You sound like you have a cold too, or allergies or something. You feeling all right?
I had straight up COVID last week.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Kept that nice and quiet.
It's because I couldn't function. I cannot tell you.
Wow.
I feel like everyone has been. I understand many people have died. I also understand many people get a sniffle and they're done. But where are the people like me where it is terrible? I mean, my oxygen was fine. I did not need any kind of extra medical care, but I don't know if I've ever been that tired or that miserable in my life.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah, that's all I ever hear from the COVID people.
Oh my
so wait,
gosh,
you had it the same,
get it.
or you got it right after Van and Taylor and Dylan had it?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
They must have given it to me.
So yeah, I'm sure that was it. So you're on the back end though. You're feeling better, and
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, it took 9 days to feel slightly
Dang,
better.
dude.
It's so bad.
Well, I'm glad we didn't have you on last week. You should have told me and chilled out.
I know.
and relaxed.
Well, you canceled on me, so I didn't even have a chance.
That's true. That's a good point. All right. Well, I'm glad you're at least on the up. And can you taste and like smell and stuff?
No, everything tastes like neutral or garbagey or.
Oh.
Yeah, supposedly that's one of with the new variants. Less people are experiencing the taste and smell thing, but I got lucky and
snagged the real
maybe
deal.
You got classic COVID.
Yeah, classic COVID.
I'm a classic. It's disgusting. No, it really is. Like I don't know if you've ever had anything like it where you suddenly realize how much joy in life has come from tasting things.
Yeah.
And you're
It's
like,
huge,
oh.
right? Yeah, and just feeling okay. Like, I don't want this. I really don't want this.
Or like asking people, like I make dinner and everyone's eating and I'm like, does this have flavor?
Yeah.
And I
hope
can
never
taste
to have
nothing.
that perspective.
Yeah, I hope not too as well. Dylan says that strawberries taste like vomit, so he can't eat those.
Yeah. It ruins, and I could eat a grape and I would taste a hint of grape at the very end. Like that's the most flavor I've had in 10 days.
Well, thank goodness. Wait, are you the only one, or did everybody else in the house get it?
No, Adam got it, and it was just like kind of mild coldish for him. And then Allie, she had a little more. But the boys, I swear they must have had it another time. We've tested them 1,000 times. They don't have a thing. So I don't get that.
Yeah, that's weird.
That doesn't make sense.
They're
All
at
my
school.
booster shots clearly only worked for other variants. Anyway.
All right. Well,
it's not worth it. Try
once again,
to not get it.
Once
Just
again,
try.
the circle is closing. My sister now. Who's next? My mom, I think, had it last fall. Just doesn't want to admit it.
Totally. And she's so afraid of the test. I'm like, Mom, it's just like wiping your nose for a second. It's nothing. The test is nothing.
Yeah, it's funny. The older they get, the more like children they get, and they're afraid of They're afraid of it. So that's what you do. Well, anyway, I'm glad you're here, and also I'm glad after knowing this and that you're still in recovery mode. I'm glad that our topic today isn't some massive life-altering thing. It's actually kind of not basic, but it's a good reminder.
It is. I that's why I was like, I'm so glad this is what this is. I have multiple other emails. I just can't even look at them.
Right.
I don't.
Right.
I can't
No,
help
you look. I feel you. Make sure you rest a ton, because that's all I hear is the rest helps the long COVID. You don't want the long COVID.
It's just such exhaustion. I can't even.
I still have this friend who writes at the Washington the Washington Post who's can't take a shower without having a stool in there, because when he lifts his arms up, he faints. And it's all from his COVID time. And before that, he was fine, totally fine. But now he's 8 months on and still just wrecked. It's so hard.
Don't. It's you don't know. Like my household, it's no big deal for everyone but me.
Yeah.
Like, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Such a ripoff.
Yeah, it is a ripoff.
So you have to, just don't get it. Honestly.
Demand a refund, I'd say. When you get to those.
I demand a life refund. It's awful.
Here's two things I know what happens. When we die, we're going to go up to these gates, and you're going to have to demand your refund there, but also they're going to show me a list of all the bots that I agreed with on Twitter. And they're going to embarrass me about those, because it's going to turn out there were a lot of robot interactions that I had, and I just didn't know it. And then they're going to go, all right, well,
I
before we
hope
let
when
you
you
in,
get to the pearly gates that you do get like a list of all these weird statistics.
I do too. I want data. I want like weird visual data.
Like how many people polite laughed at a joke you said?
Yeah.
How many people were secretly crushing on you? You didn't know.
Right.
How many random people's vacation photos were you in the background of?
Right.
Ooh.
And then and you could have, done a face or been a bomb or something. You know what they're going to show me? They're going to say, how much beef versus chicken did you eat? And it's going to be an ugly ratio. It's going to be bad.
That's
bad.
That's at the top of everyone's sheet is your beef chicken ratio.
The beef chicken ratio in my life, I guarantee, is heavy on the beef, and that's not good. It's probably going to kill me. Anyway, all right. Well, let's get to this thing. So
this one's an easy one. Really quick. I'm excited that Bobby is here, because I'm going to actually use him
Oh.
since, since Brian's gone because I was going to use Brian. So
Oh, good. This makes me happy. All right. Well,
Okay,
this is Kortar who wrote in. That's not his real name, but that's what we're going to use. Says, Dear Scott, Brian, and Wendi, I have a question for Wendi. What is the best way to find a therapist? I live in a very rural part of West Virginia and struggle to find any medical services beyond the basics, much less mental wellness services. My wife and I have struggled with behavioral issues associated with our son and to a lesser extent our daughter. My wife and son are currently in therapy in a relatively nearby town of 20 miles away. Whew, that's a long way.
Yeah, that's not close. Yeah.
Relative to what, I guess. Anyway, I've considered seeking out a therapist for myself in the past, but struggle with the costs involved as well as the distances necessary to find someone. The therapist my wife and son go to is specifically to help address his behavioral issues. I'm hoping to find someone for general therapy to deal with my challenges. Honestly, I feel a little lost in this, and I hope I don't come across as too knowledgeable. I am certainly not. Any help you can provide would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, says Kortar. All right. So how does Kortar find the help he needs?
We're going to walk him through right now on how to do it. So, Bobby, do you mind sharing with me your location? Your zip code, preferably.
We're going to dox you on the air right now. Tell us.
No, that's fine. I'm in Columbia, South Carolina, 29229.
29229. Okay.
Yeah.
I want everybody to log on. This is like when your teacher's like, it's okay to use your phones right now, right?
Oh, cool. Yeah, let's do
That's what I'm going to say. I want everybody.
It's like using a calculator in math. The one day your teacher says it's okay to bring your calculator.
Yeah, exactly. Pull your calculator. Also, as if anyone needs to log on, like none of you are not logged off.
Yeah, I need to get someone off the phone first, then I'll get AOL spun up, and I'll be online soon. No one answer the phone. Stay off the phone for the next hour. Okay, we're good.
Okay, so we have two options here. In fact, maybe you want to pull up both. Okay, pull up therapist.com.
Therapist.
And then the other one, pull up psychologytoday.com.
Hey, I submitted a comic to them in my teens.
Psychology Today?
Yeah, I got a. They're the only place that published anything. Everybody else sent me. So every major magazine, including them, Omni, I can't remember a bunch of science magazines. And then one of them was Playboy because I heard they paid the most, even though my comic had nothing to do with anything sexy or whatever. Everybody rejected me. Playboy did it warmly. They said, your interest in Playboy is warmly appreciated, they said. And the one for Psychology Today got run. They ran it and paid me $50. It was great.
Wow.
Did I not ever tell you that? I thought you knew that. This happened when I was like 17, so you would have been like 8 or 10 or whatever you were.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
anyway,
really
psychology.com. Got it.
So pick so the Psychology Today, we're gonna do that one together, but either of them sort of works. I would say Psychology Today probably has more access. Now, if this person is listening and they type in their zip code, I have other answers besides this, but I just want to walk people through this. I wish I actually knew their zip code.
I kind of wish the whole answer to today's email was pull up a website and search for your zip code. Good night, everybody. I kind of wish that was it, but that's okay. I'm glad.
Okay, so we're currently looking at therapists in 29229, which is Columbia, South Carolina. And if you're on Psychology Today and you put that zip code in, 29229, we can do it together, or you can do your own. But if you look, it'll pull up a bunch of people, names, advertisements. They'll have these filters. There'll be issues, insurance, gender, types of therapy, age, price, and more. And you can just start filtering, right? So it sounds like this guy, so we're going to pretend this guy lives in Columbia, South Carolina. Even though I know it's West Virginia. But if he is listening, maybe send in your zip code. We could switch it to his zip code. But you can, if you click on the issues, are you guys clicking on the issues?
I am clicking on, so I did a search. I just had a quick question before we do that.
Yeah.
Okay, there are 3 dudes. I thought there were no dudes. There are 3 dudes some ways down the page, but this is almost all women. And I had the question, is your industry dominated by women, would you say?
Yes.
That's interesting. Totally. I didn't know that. I don't know why I didn't know that. Okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Just
the bigger the city, the more equal that number will be. Yeah. But yeah, it tends to be.
Yeah, one of these looks like they want you to go back in time to the 80s.
Totally.
It might just
be
that
an option.
Yeah, it might just be her hair. Anyway, All
So,
right.
for example, I just clicked on men's issues
Yeah.
as the issue I'm looking at, and there's Dr. Lisa Giovanelli who's feeling confident, but everyone else is a man. There's a couple other women. But what you can ultimately do is you can pick the gender, you can pick their non-binary if you want, you can pick the price range, generally the age they work with, not their age. So, for example, do they work with teens, toddlers, adults, the elderly? You can filter based on your insurance, which usually is a really big help if you have insurance that covers anything. And so you can just narrow it down. So obviously, if you live in bigger places, they have the opposite problem as our emailer, which is there's so many options and what do I choose? Okay. So let's just find the same person. Okay. Let's find, I don't know.
We can do that Giovanelli lady you said. You want to do her?
Who? Dr. Lisa Giovanelli.
Giovanelli. Yeah.
So let's click on her.
Okay, clicking.
Here we go. So you looked at her, and you can see that she sees clients in person or via telemental health. Okay. Based on their comfort level. That is going to be the secret to the sauce for this guy. If he is in West Virginia, he can find a therapist anywhere in West Virginia. They are licensed to work with him in West Virginia. If they offer telemental health, then he does not have to do this crazy commute somewhere.
Okay.
Sometimes that is not what's called for when, especially if you have a kid or some other things, or, maybe the online route is not the best for every person, but for most people, they can do pretty well. And it sounds like in his case, he's either got to drive 20 miles, and the pickings are slim, or this is a really, really great option, especially with the things he's concerned about. Some sort of overall help. Nothing is too specific. Like, I'm trying to think of what you might want to be in person for. Lots of things you can do online, for sure.
Right.
But there's definitely people's preferences. Anyway, but when you live in a region that's just doesn't have anybody, this is going to be your best bet. Okay, so anyway, we're looking at Dr. Lisa Giovanelli's. Am I saying that right? Anyway.
Very Italian, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it gives her the address where she's located, her phone number. She offers online. You can see her specialties, trauma and PTSD, family conflict and anxiety. Really, what I like about these sites that I don't participate in.
Oh, you not here? If I searched, I wouldn't find you?
No.
Okay.
And there's a reason is I have too many people. I don't need more people. But but what you can see is like, and she takes a lot of insurance, and so you can see if you're on there. She shows the types of approaches that she uses, what her certification is, how long she's been practicing. She's been practicing for 23 years. She works with all sorts of folks, and you can see her sort of stuff. But this is what I like about it, is you get the vibe, right? And I know it's written, sometimes they'll have a video. You can watch them do a little video. You can also see who has, backed them up in the system. Like some people will give their thumbs up. And anyway, sometimes you will find, and this can also be helpful, there'll be entire clinics that advertise this way. So maybe there's one person, but it'll have the name of a clinic. Yeah. You can get to their website. It's just a clearinghouse for therapists. So I would recommend they do this. Therapist.com is more of a newer one. Similarly, you stick in your zip code, and they will break it down by what do they offer? Do they offer med management? Do they do psychological testing? Those are specific, separate things. Or is it just mainly therapy and counseling you want? And then do they take in new patients? Are they, if you need someone who's transgendered or non-binary, there are options. You can get that all broken down.
Sure. I noticed in where I live in South Jordan, there are two non-binary options. No transgender. However, gender fluid. Oh no, the gender fluid was none either. Never mind. There's one guy. Okay, this is a question I have. There's a guy in here named Dr. He's a licensed clinical social worker. His name's Jericho Avery. Mm-hmm. And he looks like somebody who might steal my car if I gave him 5 minutes to do it. Now, my question is, how much if you've got people that are maybe even dealing with issues of like, oh, I see the world wrong, or I look at things and I get nervous, or I think the worst of people before I know them, or whatever. how important is it that they're going by just a single photo in here? You know what I mean? Like it feels dangerous as a way of finding a therapist.
Spell Jericho's name. Is it Jericho?
Yeah, it's CHO. Jericho Avery. Avery, like a E. And he's in here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, he just looks like he's gonna go, yo, you're gonna give me your keys? Like, I don't know what I'm thinking that guy's gonna do. He's gonna get at me. He's gonna come get me.
Okay, so you could read his thing. As a social worker, I have a diverse background. I have an extensive history working in settings with at-risk youth, people who struggle with substance abuse, and school settings. So he's probably not for you in terms of what he does.
Yeah.
Probably not. Mega effective with young people.
Yeah, it looks like he's cool with the kids, the teens.
Buddhist, Taoist, Stoic philosophy. Yeah. He's probably great, but he just maybe doesn't fit you. But if you look at so that's why it matters. Now here's what's, you have to be aware of your biases and realize that you're going to get it wrong, right? You don't know who is a good fit for you, but you can get the vibe and you can look at the kinds of things they treat.
Yeah.
So when they've had a lot of experience and I look at their they are going to work with trauma and that's what I need help with. It's going to say that in a million different places. Those are the issues they work with. This is their specialty. This is some of their training. So you can get a sense of it. Now, what most of them will do, and this can be really helpful, is they will offer, video sessions or they will do a free consultation with you. So that's very common. He doesn't have it on his. But if you look at, and why this is important is most therapists are on here. Because when you sign up to do kind of a training or different things, there's always like a free 6 months Psychology Today profile. So lots of people can just get on this very easily, which means, it's pretty ubiquitous and you're going to find a person, but you can get a little bit of a sense of them. But if they offer free consultations, I would absolutely do that. You don't even need a full hour. You just call, set it up, say, hey, I just want to chat with you first to see if we're a good fit. If they're like, no, we're not a good fit, great, they're not a good fit. But if they, and here's the reality in the last couple of years is everyone is so busy that sometimes they just don't even make the effort to connect back with you because, they're slammed. So recognize that that's tricky. Now, this guy is in a very mental health desert, which is frustrating. And that's kind of what has been the new breakthrough with this telemental health is that a lot more therapists have gotten comfortable with it. So now they can offer this as a service when 2 years ago, 99% of the people you would see on here would not be doing online.
Right.
And so we are in a very different world now and with a lot more resources available, which is great, which means quality, good people feel comfortable doing it. They're licensed in your state. So I would suggest he does that, to check his zip code first and then expand it to neighboring zip codes and look for the keywords here. They're willing to do video sessions and that they are addressing the needs that he has. So according to his email, that could be life transitions. That could be parenting support. That could be family conflict. That could be men's issues, depression, anxiety, just kind of get a little bit clear what it is you want to make, to get help with. And you can see that that's what they specialize in. Then when you call, you say, hey, let's have a quick chat, see if that we're a good fit. You just ask, how does this usually work? Share your philosophy with me. These are the things I'm struggling with. What can I expect? This is a business transaction. And I think sometimes we, especially in the United States, we have the white coat problem where we just, the person wearing the lab coat is the expert and we have to do what they say and pay them a lot of money to do it.
Yeah.
And really, everyone's a business person who is in any of these helping professions as well. And they do have to earn your business. And so there is maybe I hope to empower everybody just a little bit to recognize that not everyone is going to work out best for you and what you need. And there will be someone who can, right?
Yeah.
but it does take a little legwork, and that's the frustrating part,
especially when you're isolated like that,
feel crappy.
like physically isolated from good options and possibly, financially, depending on your insurance and all that stuff. Like none of that makes it easier. But yeah, if you can get in there and at least get the communication going, it's like any other relationship or any other transaction. You have to find the thing that's right for you.
Yeah,
you know?
and you'll know fairly quickly. I think I hear this a lot. Folks will say, "Well, I didn't really click, but I just kept trying, thinking, oh, I just got to try harder." And really, if you just sort of this litmus test, I think can be helpful. If you feel sort of fundamentally safe and you were heard, and you don't have this feeling like, ugh, I don't know if I could tell this person anything. That's not a good sign, right? Now, everyone's got barriers to just opening up to a random stranger on their first visit. So, but I think a lot of people blame themselves too much for not feeling it and trying to just keep going and make it work. And then they end up not really working that great. So look around, find someone that fits your vibe. That's why even just reading through someone's thing, and maybe they have a little video, you go to their website, like you can get a sense, is this kind of my jam, or is this feel like too stuffy, or and you can look around and you can filter for lots of different things and find something that works for you. There's even a tab for just teletherapy on Psychology Today, so you can just skip the all the other people and just go straight to find a teletherapist.
And that's just
okay. So Bobby, were you able to find somebody that you like?
Excuse me. Yes, I found someone.
You did.
Right.
Good.
I actually had a question. So I know someone who, when looking for a therapist and it wasn't working out, was worried about like they didn't, like you described, they didn't feel super comfortable. It didn't feel like a right fit, but they were worried about stopping. And this is probably tied up in some of the anxiety or issues that they had. They were worried about how that therapist was going to feel, and making that therapist feel bad and letting them down. And I tried to tell this person, like, hey, you're not the only person that, this is just, it's fine. You're not gonna, you're not going to ruin this person's life and make them feel terrible if you need to go somewhere else. I mean, was that the right advice that I gave them?
Yeah, no, that's great advice. Well, yeah, you're right. Is probably tied to generally what they're struggling with. And that is the great irony is that it's a really important therapeutic issue. So for them to go to this therapist and say, hey, I'm not sure I'm getting what I need here, and I feel like I have to take care of you. And if that therapist is worth any salt, they would be like, yeah, that is a therapeutic issue right now. Let's discuss it. Let's work through that, right? And it's because personalities are personalities, right? Like we just don't always click with someone, and that's okay. And here's the thing. You can do good work with someone you don't click with and want to be their best friend. Sure. But if you're really not, if you're going in and worrying more about the other person, then you really are missing what this could be for you. So yeah, I think your advice is good. Here's the thing. This is not unlike dating in that people's tendency is to just ghost the person rather than confront them or tell them that they're not happy with their services. So therapists are getting ghosted all the time. And that is part of what this happens. We call them no-shows. You charge the insurance for that time, and then that person doesn't make another appointment, and that's that. Like it happens. Right. So I don't recommend ghosting. I would much rather someone tell me, hey, I don't think this is working out. And then because there's another thing I do, and I don't know how other therapists handle this, but I will start every interaction with, I may not be a good fit for you. And it's good. Okay if I am not.
Yeah, put it out there early and have that.
Yeah, give them permission real quickly to just if this isn't what you need it to be, there are more resources and I will help you find them.
By the way, if you're a visual artist, illustrator, cartoonist, whatever, this is the same rule I use for commissions. If somebody says, hey, I'd really like to commission you for something, my first thing out of my mouth is, well, just so you know, we start with a sketch that you get to approve. And if you don't like it for any reason, no harm done. We don't move on to the next stages. You don't get charged. You don't pay anything until, I basically put it out there that I may not be the one you want.
Yeah.
I may also be the one you want, but just so you know that up front, there's something about that is actually kind of liberating for everybody involved in the transaction. Yeah.
It is. And what it usually means is there's no more, and this person sounds like maybe your friend is a bit of a people pleaser. Right. And so the very thing they need help with is the very thing that's going to keep them from getting help. And that's tragic, right? Because it's the whole point. And so having someone you work with now doesn't mean they can't overcome it. Doesn't mean there can't be some growth or something. But really, a lot of people will waste a lot of time just trying not to hurt someone's feelings, which is like sweet and lovely. But, this is part of the business. Of doing this is it's humans needing each other in a particular way for growth and change and healing to happen. And if that person just triggers the crap out of you, or you don't feel like they're listening. I've had a few people share, like, I'll always say, hey, what's been like a thing your therapists have done you really like, if you've had therapy before, or what is something that just doesn't work for you? So they'll tell me right out of the gate, like, well, this guy fell asleep one time while I was talking. I'm like, whoa, that's not great. But he was very old and very tired. And so, right away, I now know this person, like, really being listened to is going to matter to them. And not that I don't listen to other people, but I'm just going to drink a Diet Coke before our sessions, be awake.
Yeah.
Or they'll say, what I really liked is this person, gave me things to do in between. Like I really, and I will say, hey, listen, I can't do certain things, and I will list what I'm not good at. And I'll say, so if that is really kind of what you're looking for, and most people are just referrals from other people, so they already know what they're getting. And so that can really cut that down. But that is part of this interview process. That's why when they say, hey, happy to do an initial phone call, you get to do some of that with no commitment, right? And you can just chat through those types of things. So that's a great question, Bobby. It's tricky. You are trying to find a therapist is like finding someone to date in a very specific way.
Well,
very
is
emotional.
Vulnerability is important, right? So
in the most intense version of that, that you're needing to work on some things you're not just going to talk to anybody about. So you need to be able to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So this may take a while. Now, I want to say one quick thing about BetterHelp or other online platforms that they can do lots of different things. So they'll do text only therapy. They can do email only. They can do cameras off, but you're online, so it's voice or phone. They can do the full, voice, face, all the things at once. So the concept behind it, I think, is a good one. It's that, different people need different things and feel comfortable with different things at different stages. And I've known a couple people who've had really good experiences using BetterHelp. I've also had a few people who it's just not personal enough or specialized enough or consistent enough for them.
Sure.
And it's not a great fit. But that is another option. Some of those are fairly affordable. If you don't like the therapist, you can ask for a new one. Like it has built in all the things that make sort of finding somebody a little tricky. It's just an innovation to try to get people more help.
Right.
So anyway, that is another option. And then I have a third one. So we have the mental health with somebody in your state. And then you have BetterHelp, which is going to be people who are also licensed to work with you in that state. And then his stuff, I don't know specifically. I mean, I have to reread the email, but nothing sounds like it is sort of super clinically significant enough that, he isn't suicidal. He isn't having panic attacks, right? Like it may be more that he needs support. And I could be wrong and misreading this. But if that is the case and he wants to try an option that some people can find really helpful, and it is to find a mental health wellness coach. So it's someone who can live anywhere in the country or the world. They don't have to be licensed in your state and can give you, it's more of, think of it as positive psychology. So positive psychology is a movement that has gained steam a lot in the last 20, 30 years of, really, we spend a lot of time focusing on pathology, like here's where your illness is and here's your diagnostic code. And you are, this kind of your broken model, let's fix you.
Yeah.
And this is a shift to, you have everything you need. You have all of the right stuff. You just need help getting there. And so sometimes coaching can be a really good fit for people who don't need more significant help. So that, how to find someone like that, I guess, is another good question you can Google around or ask people if they've worked with anybody. I mean, what's tricky about being in a mental health desert is that it's hard to ask your neighbor or your buddy because they're also in that same situation. So it's harder to get kind of a flavor for what is out there and what is helpful. That does broaden your search, though, to the world. So maybe there's somebody you follow on the gram that talks about wellness and emotional resiliency or something that does life coaching. Maybe that's the way everyone tries to advertise now too. So
sure,
just a thought.
Sure. I don't know why the term life coaching always throws me. I think it's because I come from a different era when that was more of a pejorative thing to be. And I don't even know why this was that way, but it felt like in the 90s, if someone claimed to be a life coach, you were just like, yeah, okay. It's like modern snake oil. This guy's a weirdo or whatever. Right. But I don't think it's that way anymore.
No, and there's a lot of improvement. There's a lot more trainings out there. I mean, it was just kind of calling yourself whatever you wanted for a long time.
Yeah.
And a lot more research.
Yeah.
In the area of positive psychology in particular,
Totally has really helped that. Now, there's definitely people are full of crap, but that's everywhere. So, you have to be discerning a little bit and again, making sure it fits. If you feel like you're being sold, that's a different product than life coaching, than what you maybe are looking for, right? Like if you feel like, okay, now I got to sign up for a million things and I'm on a down chain and now I have to sell my own life coaching. Okay, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
But it is an alternative to, especially because again, any decent life coach who has a certification has been trained, knows what's out of their expertise, and they have to refer on people to getting mental health that is licensed and that type of thing. So there is, but again, that's based on whatever the person wants to do. So yeah, I can see the risk. It has improved a lot, but it is, it still has some of that lingering. Yeah.
Yeah. And these days it's all about, I need someone I can trust. Right. That trust seems to be everything. Yeah. Like it
does. Well, and I mean, even if you just expand this to medical care, right? Like it's tricky when you don't feel like your doctor looks at you or listens to you very long or dismisses this, or just you say you have pain and they just keep telling you to lose weight, right? Like you will lose trust in these providers, but it's so built in for so long that they're the expert and they know what's right for you that you just are supposed to do it. But if you look at compliance for what doctors have asked people to do, I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Our compliance is really low. And a big challenge is what health insurance has done for all of us, which is make it so building a relationship with one doctor over a lifetime is not very possible.
Not like it used to be. No,
and they don't have any time. I mean, they have 17 seconds for you to get out whatever you want to say. And it's really tricky. And so you've got that model, I think, that's really built into a lot of us, unfortunately. And then we maybe extend it to the mental health field of like, okay, whoever has the most letters behind their name, that must mean they're the most qualified. Okay. And they're telling me to do this thing, but I don't really want to talk to them, or I don't feel comfortable or something. You got to trust yourself, because you're not going to get too far if you're really not clicking with that person.
Yeah.
So
you're talking about people that might be
such a chicken and the egg problem, right?
Yeah.
Good luck finding someone, and then when you find someone, good luck thinking you like them.
Yeah, none of this sounds
hard.
Easy, but I think we've at least helped Kotar get some traction here. I hope. The main thing I'm worried about him is this distance thing is really a problem. But like you mentioned, telehealth and teleoptions are not only here, they're legit. Like you can get a lot
absolutely
done.
Legit. Like I pulled up for Bobby's zip code, and every single name I see says online phone person, online info, everyone.
Oh, well, I've got to imagine this is like universal
It
now,
is
as
the
close
new-
to it as
yeah.
possible.
And I think most therapists really didn't think it would work until they had to do it. And then they learned like, oh, I can wear my pajama pants? Sweet.
I'm wearing them now. All right.
Wearing them now. It's great.
Best of luck to him. Let us know how it goes. We'd like to hear back.
Yeah, and do this. If he would like to send his zip code, and like if there's an insurance, like I do this for people all the time, is I walk them through this process. If they are like, okay, this is what I need, I can translate all of the qualifications the person has to see if it is the right training that is helpful for the thing they're struggling with. So if this person wants to email me directly at, let's see, where do I get emails?
This is so Wendi.
Wherever they
She has
get,
all
wherever
the
they
expertise,
usually give them.
all the expertise except for the part where you have an email address you have to remember.
Here's the problem. I am bad at this normally, but COVID has wrecked my brain.
I know. That's all I hear from everybody is it's so, and I think to myself, I'm like, I have days where I already think I'm foggy and lame. What if I get this thing? Then what is it? Triple that? Like, oh my gosh.
It is so bad. And then when you need your Diet Coke to stay awake and it tastes like jet fuel because you don't have taste buds anymore. It's so bad. It's ruining everything. I hate it.
Yeah,
Please don't get it.
I
Seriously,
don't want it.
just don't. Try
Avoid
not
it.
to.
Yeah, don't get it. Just wear a mask. You'll be, do all you can. And if you still get it, well, you did all you could.
And I have a dumb kid that gave it to me. She just I don't know, breathed it on me. I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, she went.
So mad after 2.5 years.
How'd
So
she do?
mad.
How'd she do? Did she?
Yeah, I wasn't too bad for her.
Yeah,
Course.
these youngins, man. The spreaders are fine. Yeah, I know. Like even Van the other day was like shocking how quick he got it and then was over it. Like it was just nothing for him almost. And then his mom was, she's pregnant, but that probably didn't help.
It's so much worse when you're pregnant, I bet.
Oh,
Anything
man.
is worse when you're pregnant.
Plus, you can't really give her much to deal with it.
No.
It's like symptomatically, she has to stick to Tylenol, and that might be it.
Yeah, no, it's garbage.
Anyway,
garbage.
but the baby's fine and all's well, so we're good.
Good.
All right. Well, Wendi, here's hoping you have a great week and that you continue to feel better and that you never catch it again. That's the goal.
Yeah, or that it's just short COVID. Everyone crush your
Short
fucking
COVID.
fingers.
That's what we want. Short COVID. 9 days a lot, but that's as short as keep it there and no more.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
They say 14 days is still within the range of normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I felt a lot better in the last couple of days, so I'm hoping that. I don't know. Things are gonna taste like jet fuel for the next year.
Sure, why
Who
not?
knows?
Have you tried Zero? Does Zero improve at all?
Yeah, I don't drink Diet Coke. Actually, I only drink Coke Zero.
Oh, yeah, I do too. I love it. In fact, I
And
have
it is jet fuel, baby. You should try jet fuel with a tinge of cherry.
Yeah.
That's what it tastes like.
for those of us trying to keep sugar out of our lives, I've probably become addicted.
We should drink fake sugar.
I really should. I really should be drinking water more, but hey, look at me. All right, have a good one. Best of the family and everybody. We'll see you next week. And
Nice to meet you, Bobby. Bye.
yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Bye. Oh, you almost would have met her, I guess, in Vegas had I been smarter about how I scheduled that.
Right, but you didn't. You asked her not to come, right? That's what I heard.
Literally said, Wendi, do not come to this thing. You were not allowed. No, I did not. I did not do that. Just didn't properly invite her, I suppose. Anyway, hey, we're now to what we call the end of the show. However, quick thing here, a couple things, a little scheduling info. Don't know the status of PM tomorrow. We'll see how Brian's feeling. Don't know. If he's not feeling it, and it's totally, I mean, that shows, PM's always a little bit liquid anyway. If he's not feeling it, I'll do a game stream with Carter or something. Like we'll have something on the stream. But if so, we'll have a PM. So we'll let you guys know. Film Sack this weekend. Again, hoping Brian's better by then. We're gonna watch The Transporter. So get your Jason Statham on over there at I forgot where it's streaming. Was it on? It's either HBO Max or Prime. I can't remember. Anyway, there's that. Then we got Core tonight at 5 p.m. Mountain. We will try not and be the V Rising episode of all time because boy, me and Bo been playing a lot of that on his server and really like that game. But there'll be more to talk about, including today's Games Fest announcements, which will probably be about a lot of existing things we knew about, but maybe some new things. So we're going to cover a bunch of that. course, Microsoft's got a big event this weekend. We'll have some predictions. Going to be a big core. So
what about Mario Strikers?
Oh, yeah, Strikers. We'll talk about Strikers, even though I haven't played it yet. I'm hearing good things. Here, it's all right.
Yeah.
I like the old Wii game. It was a good time. So I'm down for more Strikers. I just wish it wasn't $60. That's all.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's a very premium experience. Anyway, and then we got There Will Be Dungeons on Saturday. We're getting close to the big conclusion of the Waste campaign, so you want to be tuning into how that thing's turning out. And if not, you can get it on the podcast as well. Hey, Bobby, remind me before we get out of here one more time where people can find your awesome show, All Around Science. Where all around can I find it?
All Around is where you can find it. All Around Science is the science podcast we do every week, and you can just find it where you get your podcasts and just search for All Around Science. We also have a website, so go to allaroundscience.com. I'm thinking about starting some game streaming soon, by the way.
Ooh, do it.
So,
I'd love that. Yeah. That'd be great.
I've done it in the past casually, and I just thought about cranking it back up again. Things are dying down with America's Next Top Podcaster, and I'm thinking about kicking off with a game of RimWorld where I make a bunch of characters that are all like frog pants people, like you and Brian, and where we're all just crash landed onto this planet and we have to survive.
Yeah, knowing how RimWorld goes, good luck to all of us. We may not make it through the day is how that game
but works. I'll need help coming up with, because these characters in RimWorld have tons of complex stats. I'll need help with people to show up on the stream and help me figure out how to give Tom Merritt the appropriate stats and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I probably have zero value to your survival group. I don't know what I'm gonna. I'll make a few people laugh, but if you need fences built or aliens killed or anything of use, I'm the worst guy. You're not going to want me there. I'll be dead by midnight. Anyway, watch for that. That's something Bobby will be doing soon. Hopefully, that sounds awesome. And it was great having you on today, man. Thanks for covering for Brian today.
Anytime. It was a blast.
It's good to have you here. You bet. Also on Tuesdays, you can always catch most Tuesdays. We didn't have a show this week because that was when Brian was first sick. But usually Bobby's here doing a science segment of his own right here on TMS. So if you haven't heard that, check out Tuesdays. For that, frogpants.com/TMS is our website. And I would like to thank a couple of patrons who signed up recently at patreon.com/TMS. Jinxed King, Andy Social, and Gabe. All three joined the family of patron supporters of TMS in the last few days, and we'd love it if you were on this list too. So go check it out. Lots of cool stuff happening this month. New artwork going out, bonus content every day, commercial-free, wonderful experience. You can't get it any other way, and it's as cheap as $1 a month for a lot of these benefits I just mentioned. It's ridiculous what we've done to ourselves. So go take advantage of us at patreon.com/TMS. Send us your feedback at themorningstream@gmail.com. That's it for us. I'm going to play a song as we get out of here, Bobby. Once again, I'm just pulling from stuff I like. And there's this weird kind of, not acoustic, but, well, I guess it is. It's sort of acoustic, but it's definitely without voices or anything, Mario cover. I like video game music, and I like this particular version of a Mario cover. I don't know who did it or where it comes from. I'm pretty sure I found it on YouTube years ago. But some dude made a really rad cover, and I'm going to play it now. That's going to do it. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back Monday for sure. And make sure you check out all the other stuff at frogpants.com. In the meantime, shout out to Brian. Hope he's feeling better right now. We'll talk to you guys then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
It'll make her tinkle.
Oh, make her tinkle. That's great.
Speaking of tinkling, hold on. I
go pee.
drank too much coffee. I'll be right back.
Go pee.